Hello and welcome to Crossroads. As the coronavirus continues on, our once normal lives have been turned on its head, with many liberties that we once took for granted, for example, being able to walk down a road to do the weekly shop, have become, for the majority of people, wrought with issues, or for some, unable to occur at all. But even now, as certain countries around the world move towards ending their own version of lockdown and grasping at the light at the end of the tunnel, we at Crossroads look into the future at what will change after the lockdown to how it was before. So join us now in this 5-part series where we break down the post-COVID future, starting with number 1, social life changes. With our regular social lives having been put on hold while this crisis continues on, we quite naturally gravitate towards those who are physically closest towards us, our family. Because of this, our family relationships, we reckon, become more closer, with parents who would have been in work able to spend more quality time with their children, allowing issues that may have grown to be dealt with. As you may know, that a relationship that to the outside may have looked like one built on a rock can turn out to be one with sand at its base. With the lockdown going on, cracks in a relationship that is already unsteady could have deepened to the point where people are able to leave their own front doors. Some may see it as a raison d'etre to walk out of it for good. But just as one couple's relationship will break down due to the strains of the crisis, so too will the opposite occur. As a large percentage of people are spending this time with their loved ones, then so too do we reckon that there will be more tiny footsteps that will occur in about 9 months' time. This will lead to more people deciding to settle down with their partners to be able to start raising their own little families. How has your relationships during this time gone? Have it gotten deeper? Have you gotten closer towards your family during this time? Please tell us in the comments below. Next will be those around us, our own neighbourhood. With people unable to go to work, then we would have moved closer to those who lived next door to talk about building projects in their gardens and to convalesce in the burdens of the Covid-19 crisis. After lockdown, this won't necessarily go away, but will instead allow local identities to blossom, especially among those who may not have had the time before. How has your relationship with your neighbours gone? Have you been able to do gardening or building projects and working together? Have you learned the names of your neighbours if you haven't ever spoken to them? Please tell us below. But we do not only just have a relationship with our families or our little villages, but also our friends. While people would have been using apps like House Party and virtual pubs to be able to keep in contact with those closest to us, we suspect that because of neglect, our group of friends would have gotten smaller. Not through malice, but as I said, through neglect. And those that we may not have seen, we would ultimately require a sense of physicality, a sense of being able to see our friends in the flesh. This will lead to us, especially afterwards, to want to be with them. We suspect, for example, a higher level of people wanting to go off and have barbecues, especially as the weather is quite nice at the moment. We also suspect that this will lead to a deepening of relationships with those friends that we've kept in contact during this time in the post-corona future. Has the coronavirus affected you with your friends in the same way? What have you got planned after it is all over? Tell us in the comments below. This leaves people who, during a pandemic, are still looking for love. While dating apps like Happen, which have exploded onto the scene during this time, with virtual dates via live streams, which have become a way to meet people during this time, will move seamlessly into the future and, in a sense, will become seen as a predate to the next generation, with virtual dating apps being seen as a safer option than just meeting someone on a blind date and them not being who they said they were prior. How has your dating experience been affected by the coronavirus? And what would you like to see happen after this is all over? Like and subscribe and come back for your next video at Crossroads.